Hello friends, I welcome you all again to this course titled as Introduction to Indian Writing in English. Friends, we have successfully completed 13 units and we are on the 14th unit of this course. The text which we are going to discuss in this unit 14 is titled as The Cost of Living. The Cost of Living is an essay by a very famous writer and social worker whose name each one of you know. The name is Arundhati Roy. In this lecture, we would be discussing about the, let's say, writer Arundhati Roy and her works, and this work, The Cost of Living, in brief. But before moving to the, let's say, the details of the author, let me tell you about the outcome which you are going to learn from this essay, from this lecture. You would be able to appreciate the author and her works as a seminal text. The author's writing style is very different. The author basically writes for the rights of the common people. And when you read this text, The Cost of Living, you will find that the author has that sense of reality, appreciation, down to earthness, and association with the Indian society and culture. With this spirit, let us begin discussion about the author and the work in this class. Arundhati Roy was born in 1961 in the northeastern India region of Bengal to a Christian mother and a Hindu father. Friends, Arundhati Roy, she is from northeastern region of India. She is an Indian born writer. She lives in India and her parents had a Christian and Hindu origin. She spent her childhood in Ayamanam in Kerala, which serves as the setting for her first novel, The God of Small Things. Friends, this writer Arundhati Roy wrote a very famous award-winning novel. The title of the novel is The God of Small Things. And the setting of that novel is the place where she spent her childhood, the place which was in Kerala. So we can understand that the exposure which she has received in various parts of India helped in understanding the Indian culture, and that portrayal is given through her works, The God of Small Things and other novels. Roy's mother, Mary Roy, homeschooled her until the age of 10 when she began attending regular classes. So friends, we see that initially Arundhati Roy was homeschooled. Her mother was her first teacher. And at the age of 10, she began attending the regular classes. She has been reluctant in discuss her father publicly, having spent very little time with him. During her lifetime, Roy instead focuses on her mother's influence on her life. Friends, there was a problem in the relationship of Arundhati Roy's father and mother. And under those problems, she focused more on understanding her mother's behavior and her intentions rather than her father. Mary Roy, a political activist, won an unprecedented victory for women's rights in Kerala. So, friends, we can understand that Arundhati Roy is not the only activist in her family, but she got motivation to become an activist, to work at the ground level for the upliftment of women and Adivasis and the, let's say, downtrodden people of India from her mother. That tradition lies in her family, where her mother, Mary Roy, she won a long battle against the government and was able to get few women rights into the society of Kerala. Through her persistence, the Supreme Court granted Christian women in Kerala the rights to have an inheritance. So, friends, we can see that Arundhati Roy's mother has a major contribution in the life of Christian women in Kerala. She was able to acquire some rights which were missing in the Kerala society. And Supreme Court of India has granted those rights to those people just because of the efforts which Mary Roy has put. She spent her teenage years at boarding school in southern India, after which she earned her degree from the School of Planning and Architecture in Delhi. So, friends, we can understand that Arundhati Roy was an intelligent person also. She completed her schooling from a boarding school in South India, where she was able to get in touch with the southern aspects of India, how, let's say, southern culture of India has contributed in the growth of the country. After that, she came to Delhi, from where she acquired a degree in School of Planning and Architecture. So we can say, friends, that she is a formal, let's say, she is an architect in a formal sense. But later, she became an activist and a writer. After graduating, Roy supported herself by teaching aerobics while honing her writing skills. So we can see, friends, that Arundhati Roy had a zeal of writing. There were various issues which were going on in her mind. She wanted to write on them. She wanted the people to know about those things and to appreciate the way she thinks about India, the new India, the, let's say, the picture of India. Which is why she started writing after her graduation. She was also teaching aerobics to support herself in that, let's say, in her life. She eventually wrote several film scripts, which are recognized for their complex structure and biting social commentary. Friends, if we talk about the writing style of Arundhati Roy, or the way she created the scripts for the film, which she has done for many, we find that her writing style is very, let's say, complex. It has many layers. It has many structures. On the other hand, her writing style also has a biting social commentary. She is a writer of realism. She reflects the, let's say, reality of the Indian society, the role of the government in the development of the Indian society, and the way, let's say, the people are taking that development. The development which government is claiming in front of global media, is it actually happening in India? All these things are, let's say, taken care of while Arundhati Roy writes her fictional and non-fictional works. Roy wrote and starred in the film in which Annie gives it those ones, and she wrote the script for Electric Moon, directed by her second husband, Pradeep Krishan. So, friends, Arundhati Roy, she had two marriages, and her second husband, Pradeep Krishan, he helped her a lot in directing the, let's say, scripts of the films like Electric Moon, and in which Annie gives it those ones. So we can understand that the, let's say, personal life and the professional life or of Arundhati Roy is completely dedicated towards, let's say, creativity and animation, movie making, and lot of writing. Both films garnered a cult following, setting the stage for the fiction writing side of Roy's career. Penguin published the script of In Which Annie Gives It Those Once is the book in 2004. So, friends, this film became so popular that Penguin published the script of this film in the form of a book in 2004. So, friends, we can understand that as a fiction writer, as a filmmaker, as a social activist, Roy has some status in the Indian society. And when we talk about her, we must know that we are talking about a person who has devoted her entire life for nation building. Even when she was a low profile writer, Roy began to assert her political opinions loudly. So, friends, Arundhati Roy, in reality, she is a very low profile writer. She do not, let's say, focus too much on brand development or image creation or behaving like a celebrity, etc. But even then, when comes the time of discussion on political opinions, she knows how to express her opinions loudly. She knows the modes through which the government is going to listen what she has to say. Whether it is writing in an international magazine or giving an interview to, let's say, any international news channel, Arundhati Roy knows that how to present her political ideology, how to, let's say, portray her political ideology and make government of India aware about all these things. She rallied media support for Phulan Devi, a politician and former criminal of Robin Hood fame, whom she felt was being misrepresented by the film Bandit Queen, directed by Shekhar Kapoor. Friends, there is also one incident related to the, let's say, literary career of Arundhati Roy. There was a movie produced in India with the name Bandit Queen. It was directed by Shekhar Kapoor, and the movie was a kind of biopic of a lady named as Phulan Devi. Phulan Devi was a dacoit and was a very famous dacoit in Chambal region of India. So when this movie was released, Arundhati Roy created few objections on the way a lady is portrayed in the movie. Considering this politician, because later Phulan Devi joined politics into her region, and she was earlier considered as criminal by the government. But there was a Robin Hood image Phulan Devi had in her area, taking money from the rich people and giving it to the poor people. That kind of, let's say, good image, positive image of Phulan Devi existed in her area. But the way Phulan Devi was presented through this movie, Bandit Queen, is misrepresentation according to Arundhati Roy. So she raised a voice after the release of this movie, and her voice became a, let's say, echo in all the, let's say, corners of Indian film industry. After the controversy surrounding Bandit Queen subsided, Roy took time to write her first novel, The God of Small Things. Well, friends, there was a huge controversy which emerged after Roy talked about Phulan Devi and Bandit Queen. Thereafter, she started working on her first novel named as The God of Small Things. All of you know the name of this novel. The novel was very famous, very popular. She received an extraordinary advance of £500,000 on the book, making its release high profile well ahead of time. Well, friends, when Arundhati Roy published this book, this novel, people considered it as a high profile novel or considering it ahead of time. People said, the reviewers of this novel said, that Arundhati Roy has that vision with which she can think 100 years after the present time, which was a very big compliment for a, let's say, amateur writer. It was her debut novel. Debut novel means the first novel which writer has released. And for a debut novel, if a writer can get such kind of appreciation, you can understand that what kind of extraordinary personality Arundhati Roy was, who got £500,000 on this book, The God of Small Things. And friends, still this book is popular. You go to any English literature department of India, you will find this book prescribed in either BA Honours English Literature course or MA English Literature course. This is, let's say, most essential book which literature curriculum must have in India. After the novel's publication in 1997, the book won the prestigious Booker Prize, making Roy its first Indian woman and non-expatriate Indian recipient. So friends, Booker Prize, as all of you know, is one of the most prestigious awards given for literature. Arundhati Roy won that in 1997 for her book The God of Small Things, after which she became one of the most famous Indian women writer in the international literary community. In addition to her novelist skills, Roy is widely known for political activism, perhaps along with the lines of Noam Chomsky. Friends, Noam Chomsky was a linguist and he was a very famous political activist also of his time. He always talked about criticized the policies of the government and the way government is dealing the local people. In the same manner, Arundhati Roy is also a political activist. She has an ideology to frame and portray and present in front of the common Indians. And she is firm and determined on that ideology. Her way of thinking is little different from the common people of India, which is why we can say that she is trying to raise an awareness in the mind of Indians through her ideas. She has published many works for non-fiction, including several essays, as well as The End of the Imagination, published in 1998, The Great Common Good, published 1999, The Cost of Living, which is prescribed in our syllabus, prescribed in 1999, Power Politics, published in 2002, War Talk, published in 2003, The Checkbook and the Cruise Missile, published in 2004 with David Persimmon, and An Ordinary Person's Guide to Empire, published in 2004. So friends, with all these, let's say, non-fictional publications, there are essays included in this list. This essay, which is prescribed in our syllabus, The Cost of Living, is one among them. You can understand that how much actively she is participating in fictional and non-fictional writing. If you look at the years of these publications, 1998, 99, 2002, 2004, you can see that in just last 20 years, Arundhati Roy has established herself as a very different kind of writer in this field of Indian writing in English. She also took part in the June 2005 World Tribunal on Iraq. In January 2006, she was awarded the Sahitya Akademi Award for his collection of essays, The Algebra of Infinite Justice, but she declined to accept it. So friends, all of you know that Sahitya Akademi Award is one of the most prestigious award given to any literary figure in India. Arundhati Roy was offered that award in 2006, but she for her book The Algebra of Infinite Justice, but she declined to accept that award. Might be she had some ideological reasons behind not accepting that award. But this doesn't demean her way of thinking and her ideological aggressiveness. The identity of Indian writing in English, which she has created in the international arena, cannot be neglected from all these incidents. And she has progressed herself and improved her way of writing a lot in the last 4 or 5 years also. Since coming of the whole world's intention in 1997 with her novel The God of Small Things, Arundhati Roy has written 2 passionate, inspirational essays that make up The Cost of Living. Friends, she became very famous after the publication of God of Small Things in 1997. After that, in 1999, she wrote 2 passionate, inspirational essays that are, let's say, mixed up in a book which is named as The Cost of Living. The one essay was titled with the name The Cost of Living, which we are going to discuss in our syllabus. In The Great Common Good, she chronicles the struggle of the people of Narmada Valley in central India, who for the past 15 years have been fighting the Indian state's plan to construct 3,200 dams on a single river, and in the process displace hundreds of thousands of people. Friends, when we talk about Arundhati Roy's book, The Great Common Good, we see that Arundhati Roy has a very different opinion about the growth of India. The government think that if they built lot of, let's say, buildings, dams, etc., the country will be considered as a developed nation. But Arundhati Roy says that this picture of developed India is created by mimicking the Western way of development. She thinks that in Indian context, the government has to think in a different manner for the growth and development of the nation. We cannot, let's say, create dams, etc., by displacing the common people and the tribal people from one area to another area. Those people have different problems. Those problems need to be addressed. And thus, Arundhati Roy, in true sense, is the representative of these 3,000, let's say, in these hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced because of the construction of 3,200 dam project in Gujarat. These people struggled for 15 years to persuade government that not to build, not to construct these dams. But nobody was there to listen to those people. Arundhati Roy, along with few other political activists, gave voice to these people, and in this way government was able to listen to these people, and then this case was taken to the Supreme Court of India. In response to India's testing of nuclear weapons in Pokhran, Rajasthan, Roy wrote The End of Imagination in 1998, a critique of the India's government nuclear policies. Friends, India became a superpower after the testing of nuclear weapon in Pokhran, Rajasthan. It was in the time when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister of India. But Arundhati Roy was offended on this experiment, on this testing, and she wrote a book with the title The End of Imagination in 1998. In this, let's say, non-fictional work, she critiqued the Indian government nuclear policies. In this book, she said that there are 100 million people in India who are living below the poverty line. Then what is the sense of spending too much money on these nuclear weapons? Indian government should create some more, let's say, plans to bring these people out of their poverty. So with this book, we can, friends, understand that Arundhati Roy was very sympathetic. She is very, let's say, associated with the common people of India, the downtrodden people of India, the people who have no voice, the people who are innocent, the people who are not, let's say, intelligent enough to present their ideas in English language in front of the global culture. It was published in her collection The Cost of Living, 1999, in which she also crusaded against India's massive hydroelectric dam projects in the central and western states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. Friends, this project, which Arundhati Roy opposed in her essay The Cost of Living, it was a giant project. The project was created through Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat government. Thus, the people who were influenced from this project, those were the tribal peoples who lived in all these three states. We can understand that the impact of this massive hydrochloric dam project on the life of those people made their life miserable. And Roy was the one who felt that, let's say, pain, and she presented it through this essay. The most controversial of these is the Sardar Sarovar Dam, which envisaged virtually rerouting the Narmada River 90 degrees north of its natural course. Friends, in this essay, Arundhati Roy has written that out of these 3,200 dams, Sardar Sarovar Dam is the biggest, let's say, biggest one, and mostly impacting the life of the common tribal people. For this dam, the Narmada River is, let's say, rerouted 90 degrees from its natural course. And thus we can understand that how impractically this dam project was, let's say, visioned. In the process of questioning this obsolete Stalinist paradigm of development, Roy travels deep into the heart of Indian politics. Friends, in this essay, Roy is talking about the Stalin's way. Stalin, as you know, he was near to the fascist ideology. So Arundhati Roy has an opinion that Indian politics or the Indian government is behaving in a fascist manner with the let's say, idea of their development. Because the way government is moving towards development has no space for the common poor Indians. These people are neglected because they are, let's say, illiterate. They had no voice. So government do not want to pay attention to their problems. She asks the big questions: who pays, who profits? And in The End of Imagination, Roy writes about India's decision to go nuclear. The cost of living is nothing less than the story of modern India. So friends, when we talk about this essay, The Cost of Living, we see that the story of modern India is visible in this text. Who is paying for this project? World Bank? Why? Who is getting profit of this project? Common people or the politicians? If the people who are already rich will be richer from this project, what is the sense of this project? Why is government endorsing this project? These are the common questions which are associated with the modern Indian scenario. Roy is trying to think that in modern India, who is developing? The rich people are developing more or the poor people are developing more? And this modern development, this modern vision of development is lying on the dead bodies and the problems which these poor people, ignored people are, let's say, facing in the 21st century. With this note, I end my lecture and hope that you have understood that the political activism of Arundhati Roy, the political ideology of Arundhati Roy is associated with her writing style. And we will get a glimpse of her political ideology in this essay, The Cost of Living. That is all for today. Thank you for listening.